Okay, so I went ahead and read the instructions. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Motorcycle Rewind, and in this episode we get to have fun with paint, right? Painting the side covers and the cowl on the CB750. You may remember the side cover. This is the one we repaired with the plastic weld. You can see it right in here where we repaired it and then sanded it. We went ahead and sanded all the pieces in there in our paint booth, and I'll show you just a second. So let's go ahead and cover what we're going to be using to paint this. We're using the Eastwood 2K Duraspray epoxy primer in black. We're using the 2K Duraspray top coat in black again, and then the 2K clear. Now, some of you guys may have used this in the past. It's got the little plunger you pull off the top, and then you jam it into the bottom. You puncture the bladder inside so that it's a two-part paint. Then it mixes right up. Right, shake it, shake it, shake it. The only bad thing is that this has a shorter shelf life. These two are brand new from Eastwood to where it's already mixed in. So it lives right here, unlimited pot life, which I always hated. You spend 20 bucks for a can of clear and you had to use it all up. So, and if you only had something small to paint, you were done. And the great thing is all this is fuel resistant, so it works out pretty good. Now, let's be honest. Some of you guys are probably saying, you know, it's going to come out crappy. You're using Rattle Can, it can't come out that good. Let me show you what Rattle Can looks like. Here, let me give you a couple of examples. Here is, let me wipe this. Rattle Can paint. Again, this is just sitting in the garage. I didn't clean it, I just wiped it off. That is actually a Rust-Oleum with 2K clear on top. Over here, the same thing, Rust-Oleum with 2K clear on top. Again, this thing is super dirty. Let's go ahead and wipe it off. This off. Again, it's not perfect, but I did it in the same paint booth that I'm going to show you in just a second. So let me wipe this off. This is just has a little bit of grease and tar remover on it, on that rag from when I sanded everything. And that's pretty good for a Rattle Can. Again, this was finished with wet sanded with 3000 grit sandpaper, then buffed and polished on top of it. Okay, let me show you our paint booth. This is our paint booth. Again, total clean environment. Okay guys, so we're just going to start by putting a light coat of paint on here just to get started. And let me just, huge disclaimer, I am not a painter. If you're looking for a painting video, you need to click off of this thing right now. I am a guy that's not afraid to use stuff to see if it works, right? And it works most of the time. What I found that works best for me is the more you prep it, the better off you are. And I'm not afraid to sand in between coats just to make sure it's nice and clear. So I'm gonna start right here and use this stuff preferably in a well-ventilated area and with the proper respirator, all that stuff. If you're not going to use it in a well-ventilated area, obviously I'm using it in a well-ventilated area. I wish it was a little less humid. Again, just putting a nice, these things do have a nice wide fan on them, which is nice. Again, I am not an expert at this. Some of you guys are cringing, and if I'm doing it wrong, please let me know in the comments. I would like to get better. This is just documenting what I do, right? So this last piece, wow, that is a nice big wide spray pattern. So much better than the Rust-Oleum, I already tell. And I am going to put a couple of coats on here with this, but that's not bad. First pass. I'll get back to you guys in just a few minutes. Okay, so I went ahead and read the instructions. As you can see right there, it says to shake it for 3 minutes, 6 to 8 inches away, 3 layers max, 3 minutes in between each one, 5 seconds to clean it upside down, and 15 minutes dry to the touch at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and then sandable in 12 hours, paintable again. So I'm gonna get those 3 coats in tonight, and then let that dry up really good. Probably won't get to it until tomorrow night. And then I'll sand it, go from there, and if I need to do a few more coats of primer, I will, right? The key is most people just rattle can and spray bomb everything, right? It's if you clean it up, if you mask it off, if you do the work, the prep work, then it comes out. It's just the delivery system. The delivery system can't be that bad, right? So it's kind of like, if you remember what this CB750 looked like when we got it, right? Somebody had spray bombed it blue and painted everything. Not they wanted to paint the tank, but they painted the frame, they painted the engine, they painted all kinds of stuff. So it's all in how you want to do it, right? So it's understanding that, and that's where this comes from. So we've gotten pretty good at it. Well, let me say this: I've had adequate results that I'm extremely happy with. Why? Because I did it, and it cost me a paint. You know, I don't have a room to be able to spray with I guess I could spray out here with air compression and things like that, but this is easy. Okay, here we go. Coat number 2. And like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. And if I'm doing it wrong, please, I could definitely use some tips. I do like this spray pattern. It does go on nice. It's laying down pretty good too. I think it'll smooth out really good. We sanded this with, we ended up, because we had stripes, still had the decals on it. So we ended up sanding it with, started with 220 grit sandpaper, and we ended up with 400 grit sandpaper. The next sand at 600, and then we'll work our way up. Would like to get to, got a little run right there. Had a little dribble, you see it? Had a little dribble right there. It hit right at the end of the can. It kind of dribbled out, so it'll be all right. It'll sand off. Okay, here we go. I went ahead and put on the 3rd coat. I see it got a couple of drops. We'll go ahead and get those off. I also see that I've got to sand this a little bit better, but that's okay. We'll end up sanding this back, and then we'll put on, and you see a little right here, I've got a little sanding. This just has to be a little bit better right in here. So we'll take care of that when we go through, but everything else looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, as you can see. Not too bad. This one looks pretty good. I do have a couple of drops here, but I thought about it and I said, you know what, Eric, if you don't hang your, like there's one right there, I think you can see that one, and there's another one right around here. Oh, another one, a couple of them right here, but again, that'll come off when we sand it. We'll sand it with 600 grit sandpaper. And I thought about it and I said, you know what, hey, if you don't hang the can over the whatever you're painting, you'll probably won't have any drops unless it sprays out of the nozzle. So you can see this one over here needs a little bit more work, sanding, but that'll be okay. That won't be an issue. This one looks really good, came out really good. We're still going to sand it, and then we'll probably do a little bit more primer after we sand it back. But that'll be it for this video. Nice, easy, short and sweet, this little video. The next video will be sanding, putting color on, so we'll get this on. So I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, do me a favor, like, tag, share, and follow us, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks again, guys, and have a great day.